looking at Louisiana Lafayette, what do you see in them and just the basics kind of?
Well, you see a team that knows how to win championships. You know, they won their league last year and lost in the conference tournament, and otherwise they would have been in the NCAA tournament. Now, they're not the same team. They lost players from last year. Gary Broadhead does a tremendous job with his team. You see a team that, you know, when you play in-state schools, they're coming after you. And we expect a very tough ULL team, a very well-coached team, a team that's 2-0, a team that was down 12 going into the fourth quarter at Rice and figured out a way to compete and win on the road. And that makes you a little bit more confident. Now they're back home, and we'll have our hands full, as we will with everybody we play.
Hey, Coach, I caught your interview this morning on the radio, and you were talking about, you know, the whole, well, we're supposed to win a game like this, and they're going to be so fired up to play big LSU in their home gym. Can you just talk about the dynamics of playing an in-state team on the road?
Well, let me first of all say that LSU is the flagship university. So even when we were so good at Louisiana Tech, you wanted to beat LSU. It's just the nature of how it is, whether you're in Texas, you know, the University of Texas, you know. And so you must understand that it doesn't matter if you're a terrible team or not. You have LSU across the front of your jersey. And people play just a little bit harder, and it means just a little bit more to beat you. And when you don't have a lot of Louisiana kids on your roster, you got to make them understand how hard it is to beat in-state schools. And so that's basically what I meant, is that, you know, in scheduling, you got to be careful who you schedule in-state, because even when you're really, really good, if you're supposed to beat them, nobody talks about it. And if you beat them, it's no big deal. But if you lose, it's talked about. That shouldn't happen. And so that was the point that I was trying to make, is, you know, there's so many in-state schools, and you got to be careful in scheduling how many you really want to schedule to build your program.
Going back to ULL, Randy Williams, also an Bell caliber player. They have Destiny Rice. Just what do you see from that backcourt, and how they kind of control the game?
Well, they play very, very intense. You're going to see some sagging man-to-man. You'll see some 1-2, 1-1 full court pressure back to a sagging man, back to a 2-3 zone. You'll see some run and jump full court. You know, they just mix it up on you. They're not overly big like we are inside, but they're athletic. They have a young lady that was selected to be the preseason player of the year in that league. You know, that's a left-handed kind of post player, 6'1". You know, it's going to be a challenge, and we're ready to go and teach them how we do things on the road, how we eat on the road, how we sleep on the road, how we watch film on the road. Take up phones at night on the road. I mean, it's probably all going to be new to them. They don't know what to expect, but we're gonna keep teaching. And you know, it's called patience. Patience. Kim, be patient. Keep teaching.
You're telling yourself as much as
that's right. Be patient. Be patient.
You didn't change your starting lineup from the first game, but Morris played almost 38 minutes. Do you think she might start in this game? Or if not, how much do you expect to bring her in?
Well, Morris came in. I knew Morris was eligible to play 2 days prior, and we didn't even tell the team. The team didn't even know she was going to be inserted in the game. I guess the only thing they knew is she was cleared to warm up and dress out. She went in that early because we messed up on the jump ball, holding kids accountable. Nothing that would be to your eyes and the fans' eyes, but I know how I want them to do the jump ball, and we just totally did nothing. It was like we just forgot. So that's why she was inserted when she was, and then the flow of the game, needing guards, needing experience on the floor. You know, we spent an hour watching the Florida Gulf Coast film, but not the whole game. Look, guys, there's things on there that I can't share with them. It wouldn't matter if I had 10 years to prepare the team. There's kids that can't defend that. At Baylor, there are kids I had that can't defend that. So I'm fair in understanding what we're capable of doing, but there were many things in the course of that game that we've got to clean up. We stopped them 5-6 times in a row with a 9-point deficit with 8 minutes to go in the game, and we got zero production on the offensive end. And we didn't even execute anything. We control that. And so just cleaning it up on what we can control, and then make them understand you're not going to play that type of team again. You're going to match up with people better. And so, yeah, they're right when I said, get up, go flush the toilet, okay? Now we've watched that film, now we've got to move on. And we did, and we had a good practice yesterday. We were off Monday following the game, but we had a good practice yesterday, and I anticipate us having another good practice today on how we're going to defend on the road and things to expect, and play hard. Just keep doing what you're doing. We're going to get there.
You and Will talk about winning the tip?
Say that again?
Do you and Will talk about winning the tip? He loves winning the tip.
Well, yeah, I love winning the tip too, and I have things that I want to do on the tip. Now, it may be that depending on who I start different games, if we can win the tip. But let's go back to that game. They didn't even use Bell to jump ball. They conceded the tip, and we didn't get it. But it was how we were lined up. It's where you're supposed to be. It's what you're not supposed to allow people to do, and it was all messed up. Those are the things that I taught from that film, not kids taking our post off the dribble. I mean, that's expected. Not kids not getting help because I told them how I wanted them to guard. All those things, you watch that over here, but you come over here and you show them things. Now tell me why you did what you did right here. It doesn't matter who we're playing. And that's how we broke down that film with Florida Gulf Coast. But yeah, I want to win the tip. Sometimes I may not be able to. If you do a good scouting report, and it doesn't matter who your guy is that can jump the high, sometimes you just can't get up there and get it. So yeah, I want to win it.
When you have a moment like this, and this is just me kind of learning your style, but when you have a moment like that where you can point to something that we should be able to do this and we didn't, how do you realize that they get it? Do you make them verbally respond back?
Absolutely, I make them talk. You do a little bit of everything. I told you, the longer you coach, the wiser you become. There are moments where you go in a locker room, and I mean you get after it. There are moments you go in the locker room and you hug them and say, we did all we could do. And then there are moments in the locker room that maybe you're not getting your message across on the floor. Now let's find out why. Why are you not translating things from the practice court to the game? Some kids, the lights come on and they get that deer in the headlight look. Well, it's my job to figure out how do we stop that. So I make them talk in the film room. I make them answer, and most of the time kids aren't used to that. They don't want to talk. But if they talk, then maybe I can help them leave a timeout and go have 5 executed rather than 2 or 3. Maybe if I make them say, walk me through this in slow motion right here and tell me what you've been taught in practice to do every day if you're the first trader, second trader. Now tell me why you didn't do that right there. Just figure out what makes them retain stuff.
Coming off of adversity and a loss like that, how have they responded to you? Because I know you don't really care for losses. I know that you have to learn from a loss, but I know that you would much rather take a win and learn from that as opposed to a loss.
I have to be super smart about how I approach them. They really don't know me, and I really don't know them except since October, okay? So a trust has to be built there. They have bought into everything I've asked them to do. They want to do good. They're hungry. They're excited about all the things that people are doing that have never been done for this program in the last few years. You don't want to lose that. So I have to make sure that they understand, I know this game a little bit, and I kind of know what we're capable of doing. And it would do absolutely no good to go in there and get on them when I know that she's just not capable. Okay, but the things we're capable of doing, you talk to them in an intense moment, but make sure they're listening. And you're exactly right, and I told them this. Nobody in all the history of my coaching, nobody will take losses harder than me. It's for whatever reason. Young youth, they move on to the next thing. I get that, and I don't ever even expect them to take it hard. I mean, we went 40-0, guys, and I still take things personal and hard and beat myself up and lay in bed at night tossing and turning. So I don't try to put them on the level of hurting like I do. That's not going to happen. But what I can do is be a good teacher. And sometimes when you teach and it's new and you've got a whole group looking at you and they want to please you, I've got to make them think that they're better than they are. And that's what I do. Some days it'll be with intense passion and holler. Some days it'll be soft. Some days it'll be communicate both ways. You just have to get a feel in your gut for what this team needs.
You mentioned before the schedule was here when you arrived. Well, what's your philosophy on scheduling in-state teams, going on the road and that sort of thing? And of course, you play for another in-state team. You look forward to scheduling Louisiana Tech in the future.
I think you have to be very careful. I think, as I said, a side of you wants to say, play them all, let's all help each other out. But then a side of you thinks, is it detrimental if you're supposed to win and you don't? Does it hurt you? I don't know. I can view that both ways. And in-state, you don't have to probably pay the money that you pay. Now football, and those guys probably do, but I wouldn't think in women's basketball, but we paid at Baylor a lot of people to come play us, and that helps their budgets. Now I'm all for that. I'm all for helping people who need money in their budgets. But because you're a small state, I'm not sure how much the administration is even willing to pay those schools to come here to play you. I haven't studied that much, Scott. Look, there's so many people we need to play just to get wins, so I'm more about just find me some wins until we reach that level to where we're good enough to say, I don't know, we better not play them, they're too good, they might beat us. We're not at that level yet. But I hope that someday that I have to worry about that and think about that.
We'll finish up with Jock and then Cobble.
Would I play Tech? I think we've reached out to them about playing us in Bossier City, and they don't want to do that. I think. Call Johnny, my assistant, and ask if he has spoken to Brooke. But I want to say Johnny asked, would you like to play maybe next year, and let's do it in Bossier City. I think the men are doing it, right? And that's what Johnny thought would be a good idea, but I don't think they want to do that.
Coach, you talked about you doing things with the team that they haven't experienced in the last few years. Does that include, you're taking them over there tonight, right? You're going to go stay in a hotel and everything before a road game, an in-state road game. Can you talk about your philosophy on that?
I am very much into that, even when I was at Baylor. We'd go the night before to Austin. We'd go the night before to Dallas, whatever. I think you get into a routine of pregame meal, sleep habits, breakfast, all those things, and we're going to continue to do that. It makes me nervous. I'm telling you, I bet you in 21 years, I might could count on one hand the times I went the day of. That doesn't flow with me. It doesn't flow with me as a coach. Hop on a bus, go play, come back. You don't feel like you're in sync.
That was my question. I was curious, did you petition for that, or is that kind of one of those, hey Scott, if I take
No, we just do it. I don't know that it was anything that was discussed. I just assumed that my staff knows and did it, and we'll certainly be in school and finish school, practice here, get on the bus tonight, go over there, watch some more film on the way on the bus, get off, eat. tomorrow, study hall, things like that in the hotel, pregame meal, all that stuff. It just kind of gets you into the flow.
It's all baby steps in building.
Oh.
To bigger ones.
But I would do it anyway. I would do it if, we were a top team. It's just I don't know, you're just into it that way.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.